When we had last left the Nameless One, their next parts of their initiation, that was the word I was looking for before, their initiation into the Godsmen, the believers in the source of the source. Nonetheless, it continued with them now having to investigate a murder inside of the foundry. Someone got shoved up into a whole bunch of cogs and got crushed and mushed and smushed. It was nasty, and there were 3 suspects at large. Well, they weren't at large, but they were walking around doing their normal thing. And so the party traveled out and investigated all of them, talking to them, but actually not really ever finding out exactly who maybe did it. Did they point the finger at the wrong person? It sure seemed as though they did, as though it was maybe Badai Lin, but who could really say for sure? Nonetheless, they got Saros. And speaking of Saros, his father showed up shortly thereafter and was not in a good way after his harrowing journey through some sort of like negative plane of existence or something like that. So, of course, naturally, the new recruit, the initiate, was tasked with trying to talk him out of some pretty foul stuff. Thankfully, they were able to do that at the very least. And then they were granted access to the big super back area where it turned out they were making a big old weapon for some mysterious man. Was it actually them who requested the creation of it? Things would have to come to light. Anyway, now it was time to head over to the clerk's ward and get this decanter situation smoothed out with Namel. This is Planescape Torment, Enhanced Edition. Welcome back. Let's unpause that. Good. Look, I've done 2 quick saves in a row. I'm so addicted to quick saving, I can't stop. Let's head out here. And rather than go to... Oh. Where's the upper ward on here? Is the clerk's ward actually the upper ward? Are these not 2 different places? They might be one and the same. Okay, we're going to the clerk's ward. All right. Harmonium officers. We should talk to everyone out here. Oh, this person has a title name. Oh, both of them do.
I'm gone.
Okay, let's talk to the faster moving one first. Matter of course. This giant of a man wears an equally immense suit of ornate red armor. I'd say more of a burnt orange. He regards you cautiously, but without fear as you approach him. Greetings. Leave him be. Greetings. A booming voice echoes from within his great helm.
Greetings, citizen. I am Matter of Course, bodyguard to Diligence, 4th Magistrate of the Ward. You must excuse me, for my duties lie at her side. Farewell.
Oh, one moment, I had some questions. He simply turns and begins to walk away. Okay. Diligence? This older, stern-looking woman is clearly on her way somewhere. When she notices your approach, she studies you with a disapproving, tight-lipped frown. Greetings? The woman nods curtly, speaking in a tone cold as ice. Yes, what is it? And watch your words, for I am Diligence, 4th Magistrate of the Ward. You're who? I had some questions. Something troubling about my appearance? Nothing, farewell. You're who? Diligence simply stares at you, a faintly disgusted look upon her face. Okay. What a response. Something troubling about my appearance? I should most certainly think so. Should the Apparel Regulation Act be passed, people of your sort won't be permitted to traipse about in such a manner, half naked and filthy as you are. I'm quite clean, begging your pardon, and meaning no disrespect, madam. Some cultures might find your clothes offensive. You're quick to judge one by their appearance, aren't you? This look is all the rage in the hive, you know. Perhaps you should try it. It just might suit you. Yeah. Give it 10, 20 years, Before long, they're gonna the people here in the Clerk's ward are gonna be all about the current fashions in the hive, right? And it's one big cycle. Very cyclical stuff going on in Sigil. I had some questions. You're quick to judge one by their appearance, aren't you? Now let's go with this look is all the rage in the hive, you know. Perhaps you should try it. It just might suit you. Her eyes narrow even further. Do not jest with me, sir. I've no patience for it. Now what is it you want of me? Forgive me my folly, madam. To tell the truth, though, I'm quite clean, and meaning no disrespect, some cultures might find your clothes offensive. Oh, we can say this again. You're quick to judge one by their appearance, aren't you? I had some questions. I'll take my leave now. Farewell. We'll go with the first one. It's tempting me. Forgive me my folly, madam. To tell the truth, though, I'm quite clean, and meaning no disrespect, some cultures might find your clothes offensive. She examines you skeptically for a moment, then nods. Your point is well taken, sir. Still, though, you cannot deny you are a rather rough-looking sort of fellow. My appearance is merely a product of my environment, madam, and a difficult life. I shouldn't be held accountable for that. That I can't. In any case, farewell. I shouldn't be held accountable for that. Oh, but you should. How easy it is for one to blame one's life, one's surroundings for every failing. She's very, pull yourself up by your bootstraps kind of person, huh? I can see by your manner you are well educated, sir, yet you appear to insist upon a lifestyle of wandering and senseless violence. Why not settle in Sigil, become a contributing citizen, rather than some bloody-handed nomad in its streets? The choice is out of my hands, I assure you. I'll consider it. Farewell. The choice is kind of out of my hands. Oh, how so? Her coldness melts away into a look of curiosity. It is difficult to explain. Tell her your story or what you know of it. Wow, I can really tell her. Okay, fuck it. I'm gonna fucking tell her. Tell her your story or what you know of it. You finish telling her your story. Diligence looks shocked. That is quite a tale, sir. Were it only a tale, madam, it is my life, and I have the scars to prove it, as you noted when we first met, I believe. Isn't it? Farewell. Now let's go with the first one here. Were it only a tale, madam, it is my life, and I have the scars to prove it, as you noted when we first met, I believe. Yes, quite so. She smiles slightly. You had begun to wonder if she was even capable of such a thing. I wish you luck, sir, in your undertakings. May you find yourself once more. Thanks. I did have some questions. My thanks. Farewell, Lady Diligence. I had some questions? She shakes her head. I'm afraid I'm a busy woman, sir. My position as Fourth Magistrate leaves me little time with which to answer your questions. I'm sure another citizen could help you, however. Farewell then, Lady Diligence. So are people here named after concepts then? Right? Is this why the Lady of Pain is called such? It's people with a name that correlates to some sort of, like, wider thought or concept? You can't determine what this odd device is.
Known as Wanker City.
Anything over here? Oh, there's Namel. Barkeeper, drunken mage, clerk's ward citizen, cafe patron. Let's talk to the citizen real quick as they're on the move. This older, well-dressed gentleman is clearly on his way somewhere. Greetings. He stops briefly to look your way, frowning and raising an eyebrow as he takes your appearance in. Finally, he looks you in the eyes. I had some questions. Something troubling about my appearance? No, farewell. Something troubling?
Look at yourself, man. You're practically naked. covered in scars, wandering about the streets of Sigil, accosting the citizens. Why, I've seen fiends with better manners and more kept appearances. I do not seek to offend you, but I won't deny a man an honest answer.
I did ask, I suppose. I had some questions. He speaks in a bitter, somewhat condescending tone.
A shame, truly. I've no time for your questions. Farewell.
Just a single question, then? You'll make time, then. Now answer my questions. Farewell, then. Just a single one? He shakes his head, waving you away.
Find someone else to pester if you must. Farewell.
Stop. You'll stand here and answer my questions. All right, farewell, then. And thus, a rotating schedule system could be implemented in order to...
All right.
Oh, this person also has a title name. But I can't... It's something Ponder Thought. I can't discern... Oh, Able to Ponder Thought? Is that it? Because this other person, their name is... Oh, yeah, Cafe Patron, so... I think it's Able to Ponder... Or Able Ponder Thought? I don't know. Oh, I can... Yeah, Able Ponder Thought. It appears at a different speed when I hold down tab. Okay, Drunken Mage. Ho there. This older man is staring into his stein of ale, misery etched into his features. The battered pewter mug is an unusual one. Is it stein or stain? Or these days is it both? Are both acceptable? The battered pewter mug is an unusual one, lightly engraved with strange runes and bearded faces, and covered with a coat of thin frost. He looks up as you approach him.
Greetings, sir.
He seems slightly tipsy. Something wrong? What's that mug you've got? I had some questions. Greetings and farewell. Something wrong? He sighs, belches into his hand, and nods as he takes another pull of ale.
Something's wrong, all right. I've gotten lost. My apprenticeship. Well, hungover I was and botched. My mentor's last experiment. All for this damned drink.
He sneers at the mug in his hand, but in seconds his expression softens and he takes another swig.
Ruins everything it does. This damnable drinking of mine.
Why don't you stop drinking then? If you're too weak to stop, it's your own fault. Farewell. That's too bad. Farewell. Why don't you stop?
Updated my journal.
Am I going to get a quest to give him like some kind of potion that makes him stop? He's no longer addicted to alcohol. He shrugs and sighs miserably.
I simply cannot. I want to, but I cannot. I just need to drink. I try and stay away, but desire eventually overcomes me, and I cannot resist. Such a wreck I've become.
He throws back the last of his ale and calls for more. I see. What's that mug you've got there? Is his mug like enchanted to be like fucking dope as hell?
This?
He looks down at the pewter mug.
I won this in a dice game. It's enchanted to keep whatever's in it freezing cold. In my case, cheap ale.
He frowns, rubs at his eyes, and takes another swig of his drink. Okay. Is something wrong? No, okay, same. That's too bad, farewell. But now I know of, yeah. I met a man in a cafe in the clerk's ward. Whose desire for drink has ruined his career as a sorcerer's apprentice. Seeing as he doesn't have the willpower to ignore his craving for alcohol, I wonder what such a man could do to rid himself of such an addiction. Okay, so we may need to get his mug. Namel? Holy cow. Is her ass, like, enormous? Does she have, like, a giant monster ass? What's going on? Or is that, like, her dress or skirt? Good lord. Okay, it must be a skirt. Because otherwise here it doesn't describe her as, like, this tall, slender woman with an enormous ass. This tall, slender woman sipping wine from a small ceramic cup appears to be looking for someone. Her facial features are elegantly exotic, and the woman's ears, though partially covered up by her long hair, can be seen to come to sharp points. What do we mean when we say that someone is elegantly exotic? I get what it means when we say it in the real life, especially in the late 90s and early aughts when this game would have come out. But what the fuck are we talking about in this world? What the fuck do we mean in this world? Right? When there are demon people going around, there are fiends, there are undead. What are we talking about? There are people from different planes of existence, people who travel in like spacefaring starships, right? What do we mean? What does that really mean now? All right, greetings. The woman turns to face you. Violent eyes flashing like flawless chips of amethyst. Oh my god, why'd she get so angry? Or at least her eyes are angry. Her speech is as music. You can hear a faint musical tinkling. 100 tiny crystal bells as she speaks. Each word lingers in your ears, as if they were unwilling to relinquish the exquisite sound. Oh... She's a narrator. She's a CRPG narrator from a fully voiced video game. Namel turned to face the scarred dour stranger. She asked what he wished of her. Wow. Ha! Anna sneers at Mort. Stop your drooling, you leering skull. My, what a hot-blooded little chit. Starved for attention? I could drool over you too, if you're just jealous. Mort starts floating towards Anna, making wet slavering noises. Get a hair's breadth closer, Skull, and I'll see to it that not one of your chattering teeth lies within 100 paces of another. Mort stops abruptly, turning away while muttering unintelligibly. You're Namel. I was told you know the command word for this decanter. Are you looking for someone? I had some questions. I didn't need anything, Namel. Farewell. I'm gonna bring up the decanter last. Are you looking for someone? Where could she be? Namel wondered. Her companion, Aelwyn, was supposed to have met her here days ago. The woman sighs miserably. The air around her grows chill with her sadness. How long must she search this vast foreign city before she finds her dearest friend? I could help you find your friend. What does she look like? I could find her for you, for a price, of course. I hope you find her. Farewell. I could help you find your friend. What does she look like? Namel clasps her hands together and bows her head to you. She would be so pleased to hear news of her friend. She told the kind stranger what Aelwyn looked like, so that he would know her should he come across her. An image forms in your mind, a woman who resembles Namel, but with golden eyes and hair of fiery crimson. I'll return if I find her.
My journal.
Okay, but I want to talk to you again. The woman smiles as she greets you, her beauty no less breathtaking than the first time you saw her. Namel held her breath as the stranger approached her. Had he found Aelwyn? She wondered. I haven't found her. I had some questions. Namel listened to the stranger's questions, but could answer none. He would have to seek his answers elsewhere. Fine, but are you looking for someone? But I haven't even asked. Namel smiles at you, slowly shaking her head, your face reflected in her shimmering eyes. Frustrated, confused, he at last gave up. It was clear this woman possessed no more knowledge that was of use to him, or if she did, she could not be persuaded to share it. What? No, just let me ask you something. You open your mouth, but no words come out. Try as you might, you cannot question her. Namel shakes her head sadly. What? She controls me? Okay. Namel? I want to know about the command word for my cool decanter here. The woman makes no move to touch or examine the decanter, but only speaks. Namel took it from the stranger, turning it in her hands. Had she seen its like before, she thought? Perhaps. Yes. She remembered now. She returned the decanter, whispering into his ear as she did so.
Updated my journal.
You realize you know the word now. Nilda Nosage. Is this something backward? Are we on some like Eon Netniage type shit? Join the Navy? Jason Edlin. Oh my god, it's like someone's name. For real. Who is Jason Edlin? Did they work on this game? Though you're certain the woman never whispered to you, but merely said she did. She blinks at you. Would the stranger leave her now, satisfied with what she had told him? Not just yet. Are you looking for someone? Yes, I will. Okay. Well, should we head out of here? No, let's talk to everyone in this area so I don't, like, lose track. Okay. How about Ponder Thought? This older man looks somewhat bookish. His clothing and accessories are extremely clean, neat, and well cared for, and he often pauses to brush some fleck of dust or lint off of them. A symbol resembling a stylized dagger, piercing upwards through a flame, is embroidered upon his tunic. Oh, is he a member of a faction? Abel Ponderthought. So Abel is his first name and Ponderthought is his surname. It's not like, his whole name is not like a title or a designation. Okay, greetings. The man's eyes pass over you, gleaming as they fix on Mort.
Oh, I say. Would you look at that? A floating skull!
This is how this guy... Look, if you open with, oh, I say, that's how he sounds. Mort turns and looks behind him. Where? Where? The man gasps.
By the unjust lords of tyranny the merciless.
Who? He suddenly covers his mouth and looks at Anna apologetically.
Sorry. The man was a horrible tyrant, now long dead. His name should never be spoken so. 'Tis rather vulgar. My deepest apologies, my lady. I did not mean to offend.
Anna shrugs, rolling her eyes. Talk as you like, Cutter. I care not a whit for what you say. Unless you're rattling your bone box about me, that is. Try and get his attention. He turns back to Mort.
But behold, a skull, buoyant, levitating off the ground, cognitive of its environment, and possessing hearing, speaking, and seeing capabilities.
He turns to you, as if you are suddenly a confidant.
This is truly one of the reasons that the plane shall never become dull to me, sir. Just when you think you have seen everything, the planes show you yet another corner to peer around, and...
He raises his hands gloriously.
Suddenly, whole new, wondrous vistas are open to you.
Actually, the talking floating skull thing is quite common. Right up there with the self-resurrecting amnesiacs scouring Sigil for their lost identities. Hey, alright, we're taking this comedy act on tour. I'm not sure if Mort qualifies as a wondrous vista. Yes, I had some questions. Let's tease Mort. We have this kind of relationship, right? We rib each other, even though he hasn't got any. Hey! I'm not sure if Mort qualifies as a wondrous vista. The man ignores you, looking to Mort instead.
I say, Skull,
He begins. Mort gasps. Look, behind you. Another floating skull. Let Mort have his fun. Come on, Mort. I have questions for him. Let's let Mort play around with him. The man seems to have forgotten you entirely, instead turning in shock to look for this other floating skull.
No. Where? Where?
Right where I'm pointing. There.
Where? I cannot see it.
Mort speaks with mock exasperation. Ah, you just missed it. A whole parade of them. Probably never happen again in a million revolutions of the Great Ring. He turns and harumphs.
I sense you also possess a peculiar degree of mockery.
Mort bobs slightly, as if shrugging. I prefer to refer to it as keen insights into human nature. Get the man's attention again. He suddenly seems to see you for the first time. Okay. The man's eyes widen.
By the unjust laws of tyranny,
He catches himself, looking apologetic.
I say, are you all right? You look
He fumbles for the words.
hurt.
I'm all right.
Aye, it hurts to look at him, it does.
Very amusing. Oh, no, wait, that's Anna. Ah, it hurts to look at him, it does. Very amusing, Anna. I had some questions, sir. An odd comment coming from someone, what looks to be a giant rat's tail sprouting from her bottom. Very amusing, Anna. The man nods eagerly.
Of course, of course. I am always most happy to answer what questions I can, young sir.
I had questions about you. I had questions about this place. I had questions about this city. What do you know of Ravel Puzzlewell? Oh yeah, maybe yeah, you have a similar name. I've nothing to ask now, actually, farewell. I had questions about you.
Me? Certainly.
Who are you? What do you do here? What's that symbol embroidered on your tunic mean? Actually, I had other questions. Never mind, farewell. Who are you?
Why, my name is Abel Ponderthought.
I had other questions about you. What do you do here?
I passed my administrator exam just recently and have achieved the status of an A9.
Uh-oh, are we... Whoa, are we getting into, like, some Dianetics? Are we getting into some, like, fucking L. Ron Hubbard shit? But listen, the composer of this soundtrack here just can't seem to escape Scientology. But not in the way you would expect.
A research consultant in the Hall of Records. One of the many aides specializing in Sigil's physical laws and history. I research topics and laws of interest to others. It is quite fascinating, really.
All right, I had some other questions about you. What's that symbol embroidered on your tunic mean?
Why, 'tis the symbol of the Fraternity of Order. We are responsible for much of the lawmaking and running the courts here in Sigil. Many judges, advocates, and clerks are members of our order, and we are pleased to be able to enforce Sigil's laws and keep things orderly. We make a strident effort to learn all laws, whether they pertain to Sigil, the planes, or the multiverse itself.
What does the Fraternity of Order believe?
Updated my journal.
The Fraternity of Order believes that the multiverse is governed by laws. When one knows all the laws, one will understand the multiverse. That is our goal. By understanding the laws, their limits, we learn to avoid certain laws.
If you don't mind me asking, what sort of benefits are in the position? Are they one that I can actually join to? If you don't mind me asking, what sort of benefits are in the position?
Well, our fraternity allows us to read languages quite easily.
Oh, shit. Could I do that, too?
And we may use some rules of the multiverse on occasion to suit our benefits.
I don't know if I like the idea of them being obsessed with order and law. But true enough, some of their benefits sound really tempting. If this is a group that we can join, being able to parse other languages, because I got to say, I really enjoyed when we started to be able to talk to zombies and skeletons and other undead, oh my. I really like that. And learning more rules of the multiverse is kind of a cool thing. Because admittedly, I have been fascinated by stuff like, oh yeah, there's a city of portals. Your thoughts here, ideas and stuff become manifested reality in some way, right? The guy with the tree, learning of the art. That stuff has turned out to be really cool and fun. Especially the way in which, like, the exposition has been delivered. I had other questions about you. Do I? No, I don't. All right, other questions, my bad. Let's see. How about this place? Questions on this place.
I'll admit I know little of this part of the Clerk's Ward, sir, but please ask.
Why is it called the Clerk's Ward? What's of interest around here? Know of any work available locally? Let me ask about something else, actually. Never mind, farewell. Why is it called that?
It is the seat of much of Sigil's record halls and administration. The staff of these places give the ward its name. Many clerks, scribes, priests, bureaucrats, and administration officials live in this ward.
Okay, I have other questions about the ward. What's of interest around here?
There is one of the finest advocates in Sigil located here. The Civic Fest Hall, home of the Society of Sensation, is also located nearby.
He lowers his voice.
And the brothel, sir, of slating intellectual lusts.
Okay. Sure. Tell me of the advocate.
He is also one of the Fraternity of Order, though his time there has ebbed somewhat since the unfortunate troubles he has experienced. I'm not one to speak of them. His residence is just across the way, south and east of here.
Other questions about the ward? Okay. What's of interest around here? Tell me about the fest hall.
'Tis a beautiful structure that is both the headquarters of the Society of Sensation and acts as a hall for the arts here in Sigil and the Plains. It is an opera house, museum, art gallery, wine shop, tavern, training hall, theater, sensoriums. Many things can be found there.
Sensoriums? I bet we're liable to have a lot of memories unlocked there. Tell me about the Society of Sensation.
Updated my journal.
Ah, the Society of Sensation. They are one of the most prominent of Sigil's 15 factions. They hold the belief that the true dark of the multiverse can be known only by directly experiencing as much of the multiverse as possible, tasting every substance, feeling every range of emotion, and visiting every place in the multiverse.
I mean, I feel like I enjoy them the most, but like a lot of the groups, there are definitely ways in which they can be twisted to be less savory, which I think is the point, is that the groups are meant to be, right, the factions are meant to be nuanced enough to have like more positive and good interpretations and more like negative interpretations. Or not even interpretations, but like, I don't know, ways in which people in the world interface with them, right? Like they can bring out good things in you, but they can also bring out some really bad behavior. You know, just like real life organizations, I guess. You know, just like real life organizations. All right. Attempt to interrupt him. Continue to listen. Continue to listen. He continues.
Their faction headquarters is at the Civic Fest Hall, where they seek to bring experiences to all of Sigil. At the moment, they are the most numerous faction in all Sigil, and the most powerful. If I'm not mistaken, the most recent census of their members is over 20 times 1,000 members.
Wow, really? Okay. Huh. By how? Okay. I'm wondering how many people live in Sigil. If he is not mistaken, their most recent census has they have over 20 times 1,000. Okay. Which, that's not that many people. You know, I assume over 20 times we're saying, like, it's anywhere between, like, 20,000 and 25,000, you know? So how many people realistically live in Sigil if they're the most populous group? That said, there are 15 of them, right? So if you... Okay. So, obviously they're the most populated, but if you take 20,000 and multiply it by 15, what do you get? You get 300,000, right? And then... You shave off 20% to account for them being the most populous, while still factoring in that there's people who are not of factions going around too. Right? So then you would get, if you shave 20% off 300,000, you get, what? 240,000? Yeah, that's not that many people for a city, I feel. This is a smaller city then, huh? We're not even we're not even above 500,000. Okay. I have other questions about Sigil. Let me ask about something else. That's all I want to know. Farewell. I have other questions about Sigil. Let's see. Oh my gosh. Okay. We have broached into a different area.
Questions about Sigil? Please, sir. Ask whatever you like.
I'm curious about the factions. I'm curious about the Lady of Pain. What's outside of Sigil? Where's daylight come from? I don't see a sun. Actually, let me ask about something else. Never mind. Farewell. I'm curious about the factions.
Yes, there are 15 factions in Sigil. Once there were 49 factions. Then, about 600 years ago, the Lady of Pain let it be known that only 15 would remain. That was known as the Great Upheaval.
There were 49? Oh my god, okay. Continue to listen. He continues.
And sure enough, in a fortnight, 34 of them perished or faded. Many thousands died by sword or by other means. Many were simply found dead. I myself, a member of the Fraternity of Order, others included the Believers of the Source, the Dustmen, the Harmonium, the Mercy Killers, the Revolutionary League, the Society of Sensation, and the Zeocytex.
Okay. Oh my god. Holy shit. It's not even all 15 here. If I ask him about the Fraternity of Order, is he going to reiterate what I've heard before? Fuck it, I'm going for it. Okay. Yeah, alright, we've heard that. Tell me about other factions. We'll just go through these from the top just to make sure. Tell me of the Believers of the Source.
Updated my journal.
The Believers of the Source, or Godsmen, believe that every living thing in the multiverse has the potential to become a power.
Continue.
The Godsmen have their headquarters in the Great Foundry, and they have helped to keep peace in Sigil in a number of matters. They have no desire to see any creature placed in the Dead Book before it has a chance to reach its potential.
I myself uphold their beliefs. You sound as if you disagree with them. Ooh, I get an extra line? I can't ask about him disagreeing with them, however, unless I out myself as being of their faction. Because all of these, like, 2 through 5 options here are just standard, like, dialogue tree nav. I myself uphold their beliefs. You sound as if you disagree with them. I'm gonna say it.
I find their philosophy respectable, good for Sigil and its people in every way, but it's far too simple. How do you expect to discover the secrets of the multiverse by merely living well? Will such knowledge appear spontaneously one fateful day, at last enlightening one of your myriad incarnations? If such things even exist. But I see, sir, that you have little time for debate. I will drop the matter.
Okay. Sure. I mean, how do you expect to discover the secrets of the multiverse by merely living well? That's not their goal. They don't care to discover the secrets, right? Yeah, nice straw man, Abel Ponder thought. Nice straw man. Fucking, he's, their whole goal is that everyone is capable, right? I could see him saying, like, you don't surely believe that everyone who follows their tenets is going to unlock their true potential of being, like, a god or a power or something. Yeah, he's ascribing his own desires in life onto them. Okay. Sure. Let's see here. I'd like to hear more of the other factions.
Oh, which, sir?
How about the Dustmen?
Updated my journal.
The Dustmen believe we are already dead. That Sigil and the plains are where we all end up after we die. According to their beliefs, everything is dead, and this existence is a false one.
Which, I'm down for the Dustmen. I'd, like, believe them all the way up to the last part, and also all the way up... You know, there's exceptions, too, because there's people who get here who definitely haven't died, you know? They have, like, crossed over through a portal or some other means.
To keep any ties or feelings for this existence only prevents a soul from truly dying.
Which I don't... I think I agree with their... Of the factions that I understand their, like, beliefs and all of that, I agree with them the least. You know? It's so... I don't know what you would... It's a combination of, like, nihilism and fatalism, isn't it? Of thinking that nothing here matters because this is a false life. And that you should go for the true death. That you're already dead. You should seek true death. I completely refute... I completely disagree with the assertion, right? Because this is a world where people live and feel and everything, you know? Everybody... It's just a different place. People, as far as we know, like, the emotions and sensations... See, I'm a fucking sensate, aren't I? Right, let me just stop right there. I guess I'm a fucking sensate. All right, continue to listen.
You see, the Dustmen believe that death in this existence is a matter of degree, and only those who are truly dead and have divested themselves of all ties to this existence can hope to be at peace. A philosophy that has some basis, in fact, but much of it bears further examination.
I'd like to hear more of the other factions. I have other questions about Sigil. Let me ask about something else. That's all I wish to know. Farewell. I'd like to hear more of the other factions. Okay, tell me of the Harmonium.
Updated my journal.
The Harmonium is devoted to peace and harmony throughout the plains, thus their name. They believe that the end justifies the means.
Well, that's always good. That's never been a problem. Whenever someone rolls that old chestnut out.
However, and so are willing to... They believe that the end justifies the means, however, and so are willing to do just about anything to get a fellow to see things their way. Regardless of one's personal opinion of them, they do a fine job of policing Sigil's streets.
Okay. I'd like to hear more of the other factions. About the Mercy
Updated
Killers.
my journal.
The Mercy Killers believe that justice is everything. Malin, their last factor, once said that when properly applied, punishment leads to perfection.
Continue to listen.
Those new to Sigil oft-times commit error in thinking their name implies that they kill out of mercy. Rather, though, it is that they seek to kill mercy itself.
Ah. Very well said. Very clever.
The faction members take it upon themselves to punish the guilty of Sigil, whatever the cost.
Okay, I'd like to hear more of the other factions.
Oh, which, sir?
How about the Revolutionary League?
Updated my journal.
They are also called the Anarchists. Not many know this, but the Revolutionary League is actually quite widespread in Sigil, and a shame that is too. They hold the misguided belief that all institutions have been established to block their access to the truth of the multiverse.
Continue to listen.
The only way they see to discover the truth is to tear down all organization. They claim that the truth can only be discovered when people are completely free.
He shakes his head.
I often wish that they would open their eyes to the truth around them. They do nothing but blind themselves and block everyone's access to the truth.
Which, it sounds like the take on the anarchists on the Revolutionary League. Their titling is very intriguing to me, and some of their beliefs sound alright, but from what I've seen here and from what people have written in, they're kind of a disappointment. They're kind of not what you would expect with names like that. Okay, continue to listen. He gives a long sigh, then wags his finger disapprovingly, as if talking to some imaginary bad child. Of course he would think this, given his faction, right?
It is interesting to note that they have no real plans for seeking the truth past tearing down everything that they can see. Very interesting indeed.
I wonder what the Dustmen feel about them, though. Continue to listen. We do know that they were spying on the Dustmen. He frowns.
It is also of interest that while the Revolutionary League has a large number of members, the very nature of their faction causes these members to work counter to each other's interests. Often cells fight amongst each other, each one claiming to know the proper way to go about tearing everything down.
Okay. I'd like to hear more about the other factions. How about the Society of Sensation?
Ah, the Society of Sensation. They are one of the most prominent of Sigil's 15 factions.
Oh, wait, we've read this before, haven't we? Yeah. Okay, 20,000, yeah, okay, others. Alright, how about the Geocytex? Who I know maybe the least about so far?
Updated my journal.
He harumps.
Rabble-rousers. Not a proper faction at all, that raggedy bunch. Why, even the Revolutionary League is more organized. The Geocytex think that by embracing chaos, they'll somehow discover the secrets of the multiverse. Ridiculous notion.
Okay. I'd like to hear more of the other factions. No, actually, let me ask about something else. All right. Tell me about this place. What's of interest around here? And then finally tell me about the brothel. Because from the fest hall, we got into factions. So tell me of the brothel. He nods, looking somewhat embarrassed.
Yes, well, I am known to go there for the conversation.
He glances at Anna, then flushes an even deeper red.
'Tis a large, round building in the center of this part of the ward.
Okay. I had other questions about the ward. Know of any work available locally?
None of the temporary sort, no.
Okay, other questions about the ward? Nope. How about something else entirely? How about the city? I'm curious about the Lady of Pain.
The Lady of Pain. Yes, yes. She is the force behind Sigil, you know. Very impressive figure, but little is known about her.
What is known about her? He begins ticking off the points on his fingers.
1. She is not just a symbol of Sigil, as some claim. She is very real and very dangerous. 2. She is believed to be the one that keeps the powers, deities, out of Sigil. As long as she is present, the powers cannot enter Sigil.
Continue to listen.
3. She also prevents unauthorized teleporting and gating into and out of Sigil. It prevents the outer planes creatures from bringing even more of their kind into Sigil, outside of the conventional routes. 4. She has never spoken to anyone. 5. She usurped control of Sigil from Eoskar, a power now believed dead.
What if I'm Eoskar? What if that's me? You know, what if that's me? What if I'm Eoskar? What if that's me? Okay. I don't know. The Lady of Pain definitely has some sort of curious relationship with this Eoskar. Beyond, gotta be beyond just a usurpation, because why go through the trouble? Right? If they were more... I feel like if it were more of a matter of ideology, wouldn't we have heard of it by now? That said, maybe she doesn't permit it. Maybe I'm Eoskar. That's my... Here's another wild one for you. I'm Eoskar. All right. Continue to listen.
6. Anyone who threatens Sigil or her is punished, either by falling beneath her shadow, which results in a series of invisible stab wounds that can kill even greater Batizu, or by being sent to the mazes, from whence few ever escape. 7. She does not like to be worshipped. Those that do are often found with their skin missing.
Continue to listen.
And lastly, the sight of her is believed to drive others mad.
She stole control of Sigil from a power? How do you know this? Do you notice as well? One of the cool little bits of characterization between the different, you know, this is, we're getting into some very, like, classist, not classist, but we're analyzing different classes in society here, right? We've got, the hive, the people working around the foundry, in and around the foundry, and we've got people here in the clerk's ward and all of that stuff. Which I guess, right, the clerk's ward is upper ward too. One in the same. But, notice how everyone in the hive always did the little, like, superstitious symbol around their heart when they spoke of the Lady of Pain or whatever. But here, so far, I'm curious if anyone will do it. Maybe there'll be 1 or 2 people who do it, but this guy definitely ain't. All right. Hopefully I can ask about both of these, because they both seem very interesting. The sight of her drives people mad. She stole control of Sigil from a power. How do you know this?
She's the belief of my order.
Okay, fair enough. You'd said the sight of her drives people mad?
Yes.
He ponders it for a moment.
But I must add the caveat that I have never seen her, you understand.
So, how is it that you know she created Sigil?
She's the belief of my order.
Okay. Other questions about Sigil? What's outside of Sigil?
No one knows, and it is not from want of trying. At the places where no true wall exists are solid walls of buildings, with no windows that look beyond. Some claim to have climbed roofs and seen the outside of Sigil, but they can only describe the outside as nothing.
Continue to listen. He continues.
That is an unacceptable explanation, but it still remains a mystery. It is rumored, without fact, that to step beyond Sigil's walls takes the traveler to a random plane. But this has not been confirmed. The Fraternity of Order has mounted many expeditions, and we have yet to retrieve concrete information.
The Fraternity of Order. No, he'll probably just loop back around. Other questions about Sigil? Okay. Where's daylight here come from? I don't see a sun. We've heard about this, though. Well, I guess we don't know the science behind it at all, or the attempt at science behind it. Which, you know, science is an attempt anyway.
The haze can make it difficult to determine for certain, so I understand your difficulty. The light comes not from a sun, but from the gradual luminescence that fills the sky.
Continue to listen. It
reaches a peak called peak, then fades until Sigil is completely dark, called anti-peak. The source of luminescence is unknown, but it is most likely the lady's will.
Huh. Okay. The lady, probably loop back over to the... Okay. Oh. Oh, no, wait, no, we've heard this before. Okay. Attempt to interrupt him. Attempt to interrupt him. Okay, we have to hear this, even though I've heard it before. Okay. Let's see. Other questions about Sigil? Actually, let me ask you about something else. How about Ravel Puzzlewell?
Ravel, if she truly existed, and there is little to prove that she ever did, was a night hag, one of the inhabitants of the Grey Waste, one of the lower planes, and believed by some to be the worst of the lower planes.
Continue to listen.
As the legend goes, Ravel was mazed several centuries ago. She was believed of being a mistress of many strange magics, and apparently her presence in Sigil constituted a threat to the lady. I'm afraid that I know little about her.
Mazed?
The mazes! These are creations by the lady. You see, she takes a small piece of Sigil, copies it, then uses a portal to place the copied bit into the deep ethereal. Once there, the piece of Sigil then becomes a demiplane, an endless maze that curls and twists about itself.
Huh. How do they know so much about these mazes? How are people studying them so much? Huh. Part of me is still open to the idea that I'm in a maze right now. That's what this is. And that's why there's some strange, inexplicable features to this location, to Sigil. Alright, attempt to listen.
The lady uses these mazes to imprison anyone who threatens her power. Once she has determined that you are to be imprisoned, there's no escaping them. There is believed to be a way out of each maze, but it is most likely extremely difficult.
If we're not in a maze right now, we are definitely going to go into one, right? There's no... Right? They're teasing it too much. Either we've been in one the whole damn game, or we're going to go into one. I had some other questions. Actually, I lied. I have nothing else to ask now. Farewell. Okay. Let's see. Who else can I chat with here? About this cafe patron? This finely dressed, well-groomed man is relaxing here, enjoying the outside air while sipping at a beverage purchased from the nearby cafe. Greetings. Greetings to... He pauses when he finally takes a good look at you. To you as well, sir. He smiles uneasily. Something troubling about my appearance? No, sir, the trouble is mine. I'm merely unaccustomed to the sight of such a worldly-looking fellow such as yourself here. He closes his eyes briefly, holding his hand to his chest apologetically. I pray you'll pardon my blanching when I first saw you, sir. Worldly? Well-traveled, if you like. That is to say, sir, your appearance. Well, it's slightly disheveled, rough about the edges. You may find you, stand out a bit here, but Sigil is full of oddities, no? Methinks the clerk's ward just sees less of them than the rest of the city, 'tis all. Save for the fest hall, of course. Okay. You mean I look dead, right? Well, I am, you know, dead. The man raises an eyebrow. Pardon, sir? I said I'm dead. Dead, dead, la la, dead, dead, la la. Okay. I don't want to say dead, dead, la la, do I? I don't want to. Never mind, I had some other questions. Okay. Let's see. Ask what you will. I'll answer what I can. What is this place? He seems amused. Why, 'tis the clerk's ward. New to Sigil, sir. Wait, you look to be a man who seeks answers, not questions. Keeps to his own self. Pay my question no heed. He smiles. What can you tell me about the ward? Well, the greater part of the ward, where I'm forever doomed to spend the majority of my time, it seems, is dominated by record halls and administrative buildings. Not this section, though. Why are you doomed to remain there? He shrugs, looking away with a pained expression. My duties lie there, sir. My means of living. 'Tis my place of employment. What do you do? So what makes this section different from the rest of the ward? What do you do? He raises his hand, shaking his head. Oh, no, sir. I shan't discuss that now. No talk of policies and paperwork whilst I'm away from there. And that's final. He smiles politely. What makes this section different from the rest of the ward? The Civic Fest Hall, first off. The brothel of slating intellectual lusts as well. Not a typical brothel, you know. It caters to more cerebral appetites. Tantalizing nonetheless. He smiles slyly. Go on. Other places I might mention. He ticks them off on his fingers as he names them. The Advocate's Home, the Apothecary, the Art and Curio Galleria, the Catacombs beneath the ward, and the Tailor. Oh, I nearly forgot. There is a curiosity shop of sorts as well. Okay, I had some other questions. Ask what you will, I'll answer what I can. What is of interest here? Okay, oh, same. Other questions? What is this? Well, where can I find work here? The man hums, wrinkling his brow. I shall take the liberty, sir, of assuming you're not seeking permanent employment. You might seek temporary work at the Advocate's Home or the Apothecary, and the Fest Hall is host to all sorts of goings-on. You may find something there. Okay, I had some other questions. I wanted to ask about a specific place. Oh my gosh, okay. Oh, where? How about the Advocate's Home? Advocates help argue cases, draft legal documents, and act as legal representatives for their clients. The one close by, Ignus, is well respected and quite dependable. He has resided and worked within the ward a long while. How do I reach Ignus's home? Ignus's home is south of the gate to the lower ward, where you first entered this place, most likely. It will be on the eastern side of the road. I don't think that's where I entered here from. Okay. What can you tell me about the Advocate? Oh, same. Okay. I wanted to ask about somewhere else. How about the Apothecary? The Apothecary sells various salves, potions, herbs, and the like. He frowns momentarily. The place's proprietors are a bit balmy, constantly sampling the store's stock. Good men, though. How do I reach the Apothecary? Follow the road that leads east from the gate to the lower ward, where you first entered this place most likely. When the road forks northeast and southeast, go southwards. You'll find it there, east of the road. It faces southwards and has 3 windows of stained glass. What can you tell me about the place? Okay, same. Wanted to ask you about somewhere else. Tell me about the art store. Ivana's Art and Curio Galleria is a most intriguing place. She has a collection of artwork, antiques, and artifacts from all across the plains. How do I reach the art store? Follow the road that leads east from the gate to the lower ward, where you first entered this place most likely. When the road forks northeast and southeast, go southwards. You'll find it there, west of the road. It faces southwards and has a roof whose tiles are held down by large stones. Okay. What do you know about the place? Same. Okay. I wanted to ask about somewhere else. About the brothel. A sensate establishment that pleasures one's mind and senses. He shuts his eyes for a moment, smiling happily. 'Tis run by a most charming woman, full from grace. I highly recommend it if this is your first time in the ward, sir. Yeah, I feel like we should go there next, but I worry because I don't want to join the sensates yet because they might be the ultimate faction that I want to ultimately join. So I don't want to join them, and then if I leave them, I get stuck with a faction that I don't really want to reside with for more important stuff, you know? I guess we could go there and we could check in, and just as we did at the Foundry, right? There was like a dialogue option, a choice where it was like, how about joining you all? How do I go about joining the sensates? Anyway. Tell me more about sensates? Yes, their proper name is the Society of Sensation. They believe that the true nature of the multiverse can only be discovered through direct experience. I see, go on. They dedicate their lives to experiencing as much of the multiverse as they can. They travel extensively, both across the planes and into the depths of their own minds and emotions. But they take it a step further, you know? How so? They actually have found a means of sharing their experiences with others, with the sensoriums. Sensoriums? The sensates have created a means by which they may take experiences, capture them in stones, and allow others to experience them. The sensates roam the plains and search their inner selves for experiences to share with others. Virtually everything they've felt or sensed lies in their sensoriums. Where are these sensoriums located? Within the Civic Fest Hall. There are sensoriums that are open to the public, and those open only to sensates. There is a slight fee for using them, but it is a modest price to pay for the experience. These experiences, are they like memories? In a way, yes, but very intense. And not memories that you have had, but another has had, captured within the stone. Captured. Does one lose their memory or experience when it's put into the stone? Oh shit, is that what we're thinking happened? Oh shit. Does one lose their... Oh. No, he frowns. Or at least, I think not. I believe the stone copies the sensory experience. You might ask a sensate about it to make sure, but that is my understanding. Okay. Sure, maybe I just have normal amnesia. No, there's no way I have just normal amnesia, right? I had other questions. Ask what you will, I'll help. I'll answer what I can. Let's see, a specific place. Tell me about the catacombs beneath the ward. It's a mystery to me, yes, it's a mystery to everyone, as to why the Dabus haven't closed them off yet. They're full of monsters, so it's said. Horrible things that gibber and drool in the darkness. How would I find my way into them? I wanted to ask about somewhere else. I had some other questions. How would I find my way into them? He frowns. There is more than one entrance here. I know that much, but little more. I would warn you, though, that nothing comes up from those catacombs, including those who enter them. What else can you tell me about them? It's a mystery to... okay, same. Somewhere else? How about the... oh, didn't I talk about the Civic Fest Hall in relation to the brothel? The brothel... how do I reach the brothel? The brothel of slating intellectual lusts, eh? He smiles knowingly. 'Tis just east of the gate to the lower ward, where you first entered this place, most likely. It's... oh shit, I accidentally clicked. Okay. Oh shit, that's Abel. Okay, Abel smiles at your approach.
Ah, good sir. We meet again. You know, I was just thinking...
He begins talking at length of the way in which the Fraternity of Order, the Harmonium, and the Mercy Killers work together to promote peace and stability in Sigil. Oh, they do really work together a lot? Okay. Sure. So they're, Fraternity of Order, Harmonium, and Mercy Killers, they seem like the most fascistic of the groups so far in ascending order, with the Mercy Killers being like like really fucked up monster people. Right, they seem real bad. Okay. Yeah, very interesting. I must be going. Hello, patron. Ah, once more the wanderer crosses my path. The man smiles at you over his cup. More questions, no? That's right. Okay. Let's see here. I wanted to ask about a specific place. Tell me about the Curiosity Shop. I won't profess to have been there myself, but I understand it's run by an importer of sorts, a half-fiend, in fact, whose goods come from the lower planes. A half-fiend? Not a tiefling, mind you, but a proper half-fiend. Daughter of an incubus and a mortal woman, I'm told. I care not for gossip, however, so let's speak of her no more. You said her goods were from the lower planes? He nods, lowering his voice to a whisper. You know, sir, Baitor, the Abyss, and the like. Terrible places. Where can I find the Curiosity Shop? I've never been there, but I've had it pointed out to me. It is in the southeast section of this area, an unusual building, set atop a wide flight of stairs. Difficult to miss, really. Okay. Let me ask you about something or somewhere else. Specific place. How about the tailor? Gonclaves? Or Goncalves? Goncalves is an excellent tailor, but he is short of temper and easily offended. I must warn you, sir, he will likely judge you by your appearance, and thus you might have a difficult time making a friend of him. Where is Goncalves' shop? You'll find Goncalves the tailor's shop just to the north and east of the gate to the lower ward, where you first entered this place most likely. 'Tis a wide building, whose entrance faces southwards. Let me ask you about something else. Okay, and directions probably is what we got, where whenever we ask about a specific place, it could also tell me directions. What do you know of Ravel Puzzlewell? The name sounds familiar. Is she some sort of figurehead or character in a book? I cannot recall. Never mind, I had other questions. Never mind, actually, farewell. Thank you. And who else do we need to talk to? I guess the barkeeper? This smiling man nods cheerfully at you as you approach. Also notice as well, people just generally happier up here. People are either more willing and happy to entertain casual chatter like that guy, which, true enough, we did find people like that in the lower ward and the hive. But oftentimes they were portrayed as being like some kind of neurotic to some degree, or it was like their job being like a tout, you know? But this is something that you always hear about in real life, is that not exclusively, but on average, people who are doing well, or not even doing well, but people who aren't struggling are obviously, right, it sounds silly to even mention it, but tend to be more easygoing, right? But sometimes, you know, it goes, the snake eats its tail, and instead of being easygoing and like chipper and all of that, as we have seen here, sometimes they're stuck up, you know? So it depends. But usually when someone is, you know, in a good headspace, they're happy to talk to people, right? Interestingly enough. Which, you know, so when... I think that the takeaway is that when someone is like maybe yucking your yum a little bit, if you come across someone in the day-to-day and they're just like, they, I don't know, they offend your sensibilities in some way. At least speaking for myself, I don't really hold it against them in any way, because, you know, you're either going through a tough time or you're just having a bad day, right? Like, if it's repeated, if you go through life and it's a repeated, like, someone being shitty, then maybe look closer into it. But, you know, just a one-off brush with someone being a little less than savory, it's no big deal. Anyway, the smiling man nods cheerfully at you as you approach. Welcome to my cafe, good sir. What might I serve you? Some wine, perhaps? No wine, but I had some questions. The man gives you a helpless sort of look. Humblest apologies, sir, but I make it a policy to serve drinks and nothing more. You shall have to look elsewhere for your conversation, I'm afraid. Are you certain you wouldn't like a drink? Or some bread and cheese, perhaps? No, I don't need anything. Farewell. I can't try the drinks?
Done.
I feel like in most places I've been able to, like, sample stuff. These wrought iron bars seem to serve as decoration rather than security measures. And what is this building? The Advocate's home.
I'm gone.
Okay, so speaking of places where the poorer folk reside on average, let's head on back to the smoldering corpse. Was it this one? I think. Yeah. Now that I have the decanter readied. Decanter of endless water with command word. Okay. This is an ordinary looking stopped flask that somehow holds an endless supply of water. You know the command word for this item? Milden Nosage. And you're confident that you can put out most any fire, no matter how intense. Okay. This item can only be used through dialogue with an object or creature. Which, of course, you know, if we were actually doing some tabletop role-playing here, having an item like that is just asking for a wild fucking time. Right? Giving your player an item such as that, well, you're just immediately, as soon as you encounter a problem, you're going to immediately think, how could I use my flask of endless water to somehow solve this? You know, you give someone an item with a very peculiar and unique property like that. Okay. Let's see. Ignus? This crackling, billowing creature twists slowly above an iron grill, upon the floor of the bar. It may have once been human, but now its skin is charred beyond recognition. Streams of fire form a wreath around the creature's body, and the flames lick at the few remaining pockets of flesh, causing them to bubble and run like wax down the creature's skeletal frame. Okay. Huh. I wonder if this decanter of endless water will do something. You tilt the decanter over the grill and begin to pour. A small stream of ice blue water pours from the decanter and touches the flames of the grill with a violent hissing and a rush of steam. As if in response to this challenge, the decanter seems to lunge forward, falling onto the grill and shattering. By the hells? Oh my god, it broke? Hissing billows of steam and a furious crackling noise rushes from the grill, spilling over you and forcing you to cover your ears and turn away. There's a scream, a cackling, a terrible sound, like 100 buildings burning, people screaming, their screams being cut short by the roar of flame and melting flesh. Cover your ears, block out the sound. Maybe we shouldn't have done this. As you put your hands over your ears to block out the sound, you feel a stickiness on your hands, like hot cheese or candle wax. Your ears are bleeding from the sound. You draw your hands back and see them covered with chunks of melted flesh filled with bloody swirls. Try and get out of the bar. What the fuck? You're about to run from the bar, anything to get away from the sound, when suddenly all falls silent, except for a jagged crackling coming from the grill. You turn. On the grill lies the decanter of endless water, now nothing but shards and steam. Above it is the creature, flames still trailing from its body, floating over the bar's floor. It is staring at you, its eyes flickering like two torches. I know you.
Yes.
The creature's face splits, charred flesh peeling away from its jaw so that it might speak. Its voice crackles, burns, roars through the creature's chest, and with every word, flakes of cinder and ash spit from its mouth and drift into the air. You can barely stand to look at the thing. The blazing radiance surrounding it is terrible to behold. Ignus.
Yes, long have I slept, dreams of flames. I am yours, till death comes for us both.
This is how Ignus sound. Okay. He's a little cretin. Okay. The creature floats towards you, the air bending from the thermals surrounding it. As if in response, flames curl from within Ignus's throat, and a tongue of flame streams from behind his blackened teeth. We shall see. That's it? He's just in with us? Oh, look at his little flashing situation down here. Okay.
Ignus hears you. Burn. What do you wish of Ignus? What is thy bidding?
Wait, he's back on fire again. Wait, hang on.
Ignus wishes to burn. The flames await. Ignus hears you. Burn. What do you wish of Ignus? Where fire once fed, I may send it to feed again. You are all tallow for my flames. I shall bless the plains with my touch. The flames hunger for the blistering of flesh. Ignus hears you. Burn.
Okay. So he's probably evil. Okay. He is a full mage. 19 int. How is that compared to... Wow, he is significantly more int than Dakin. Okay. Which, true enough, Dakin is a fighter mage. But this is our first person who isn't, like, a fighter in some way, either purely or partly. Huh. He is human. And also, it's made me realize that Mort is Mort. Mort's like species or race or whatever is Mort. Okay, fair enough. 20 Constitution. I guess that makes sense, given everything. Okay. Wow, he's not evil. He's simply chaotic neutral. Just as Anna is. Really? Okay, here, can I order these around? Maybe not from this menu. Yeah. Order in which we obtained everybody. Can I actually put someone ahead of me? You cannot change the Nameless One's party order. Okay, fair enough.
What do you wish of Ignus?
Let's see. Let's get more info here. Very low charisma. That makes sense. Who has the lowest charisma? Mort's actually pretty bad at it, but not as bad as Ignus. Okay, very low wisdom. Decent strength and dex, though. Okay. So, armor class, current state is normal? Sure. Level 7, same as Mort. Actually requires way less XP to reach level 8 relative to Mort. Why does Mort need so much more XP? Huh. Yeah. Why the difference? Is it on account of like int? Maybe. Yeah, it might be on account of int. Or wisdom, maybe it was. No, wisdom gets you more XP, and maybe int means you require less XP to level. That may be it. Okay. Resistances, fire is 125%. I'm assuming we're still operating off of like, BG 1 and 2 rules to where like, if Ignus gets hit by fire, he will be healed. Because magic fire is also 125. Cold annihilates him. He's immune to electric and acid. But only standard electric and acid. Nothing to do with magic versions. Okay. Fist. Sure. And no faction, which I guess makes sense because you've been here for who knows how long. Okay. Biography.
No more talk and wander. Ignus wishes to burn. Ignus burns so long ago, yet once Ignus knew nothing of flames. He set small fires, tiny flames, tiny flickerings. The fires grew. Ignus set fires in the streets and lit the fires of anger in their hearts. They sought to punish Ignus, the small flies from the hive. They wished to see Ignus burn after Ignus set fire to their streets. Tiny magelings, hedge wizards, rune casters, tiny sparks of magic came to punish Ignus for hurting their loved ones. They sentenced Ignus to burn, made Ignus a torch, a human torch, a spitting flame, burning. It was justice, they said, but it was not a sentence. There is so much flames and pain that there is no pain. There is light and heat, and the flesh runs as tallow across my bones. And for the first time, Ignus was pleased. When the plains burn and all life is torches, then Ignus shall at last be at peace.
Huh. How is this guy not evil? Right, he seems to directly want the heat death of the universe or the multiverse. Right, I feel like chaotic evil is more apt than chaotic neutral. Okay. Well, let's take a look at your spell book here. Oh, he knows fire magic, of course. How much HP do you have? 42. Dakin has 60. Yeah, he's the lowest HP of anybody, which makes sense. Seeking Flames. As the maintainer of life, fire is a true blessing. Yet as it warms, it also burns. While it is a blessing, it is also a curse. Its scorching flames distract and weaken all enemies who succumb to its effects. The Seeking Flames grants all enemy targets in a 50-foot radius -1 to attacks and -1 to their save throws for half a minute. Tongues of Flames. The flame scorches and burns. Its hatred arcs and swirls as it strikes the enemy without error. Ah. Okay. No chance of missing. Infernal Orb. Ignus' Terror. Terror exists in many forms throughout the multiverse. This incantation calls upon one of the most basic universal forms of terror, the fire of destruction, to destroy courage and strike fear into all adversaries. This spell causes all non-undead creatures within a 30-foot radius of the target point to flee in terror from the area. If they fail their save throw at a -1 penalty. Huh. Infernal Orb. A sphere of fiery red is called upon to weaken and slow the enemy. Caster summons a large magical orb of fire, which can then be hurled at a target using the caster's normal attack roll. Caster gains a +3 to hit bonus to his attack roll. The orb does 1 to 6 damage and inflicts a -1 penalty to the enemy's strength and dex. One creature only. Fiery Rain. Streams of fiery rain streak down upon the target, burning and crushing it into submission. Caster chooses any See, rain I feel like implies more than one target. Caster chooses any single target within range, then a stream of fiery meteors rain down and strike the target and surrounding area. 1 meteor for each level of experience, up to a maximum of 10. Each missile that hits inflicts 1 to 2 points of blunt and 1 to 4 points of fire. Anyone within 3 feet of the target takes 1 point of fire damage as well. Oh, hang on. Anyone within 3 feet. Interesting. So you could use that for self-healing. Infernal Shield. Duration 5 seconds per level or special. Even the Great Destroyer is halted by this mystical barrier. Who is the Great Destroyer? When cast, all fiery effects are absorbed and altered into healing energies. Works on caster only. Okay, but he already has that baked in. Only at, okay, this looks like, yeah, 150%. Works on caster only. The spell creates a fiery shield that bestows a 150 normal fire resist and 150 magic fire resist. Okay, yeah, I don't think that one's that good. I'm actually going to replace it right now. And we'll get another fiery rain. Elemental Strike. Okay, gives globes of elemental force fly forth and explode upon impact. Those within range are caught in its blast wave as well. Like the magic missile, this spell creates a mystical globe of elemental energy which will successfully hit its target for 2 to 8 points of damage, regardless of save throw. It then explodes with a concussive blast that does 1 point of damage per level of the caster within a 3-foot radius. If a save throw is made, then this concussive damage is negated. The wizard creates 1 missile at 7th, plus an additional missile every 3rd level after 7th, for a max of 7 missiles. Okay. What kind of damage is the blast, though? It says concussive, so is it like crushing? Or is it still fire anyway? Because that's relevant. Okay. I almost feel like Seeking Flames is a little unnecessary. I'm gonna get rid of it. Do I want 2 tongues of flames, though, and just 1? Yeah, we'll try that on for size. Alright, good. And then, let's have some words here. Actually, do you have a special ability? No. Okay.
Yes.
Flames curl around Ignus' throat. and a tongue of flame streams from behind his blackened teeth. Ignus, what happened to you to make you this way? Ignus, is it true you burned down the Alley of Dangerous Angles? What were you doing in the Smoldering Corpse bar? Ignus, I spoke with a storyteller in the Hive, and he mentioned that someone taught you these things. Who? Nothing, Ignus. I was just checking to see if you were still with us, so to speak. Ignus, what happened to you to make you this way?
This way.
A small pocket of flesh on Ignus's cheek pops and runs in a steaming trickle down his jaw. This is so gross. It's so disgusting to interact with this guy in any way. Right? This is so foul.
This way. Ignus always was.
But you look human, or at least you look like you were human once. Ignus twists, hunching his head forward as his body spins slowly above the ground. The effect is much like a fiery whirlwind, thermals streaming off his body and distorting the air around him.
Still Ignus, always Ignus.
Yeah, I feel like this body horror here is actually affecting me psychologically a little bit, or significantly more than it does when it's applied to my character, to the Nameless One. Right? The Nameless One's degree of body horror, at least in text form, I'm unfazed. But the fact that he's, like, always burning alive is freaking me the fuck out a little bit. And the detail in which, like, the prose used here to describe it, it's a little wild. Okay, it's a little gnarly. Never mind then. I had some other quest. As you open your mouth to speak, Ignus suddenly whirls on you. You're first to choke back your words as the heat from his flames floods over you.
Ignus, might you be sparks in bodies, always seeking to rise.
Sparks and bodies, what do you mean?
All things burn inside.
Yeah, you know, the fire inside me was brighter than the fire around me. You know, that old chestnut. Ignus's head cranes back and throws his arms wide. Spirals of flame and heat traveling up his arms.
Only need to be kindled with flames to become Ignus. So might you have been Ignus.
Are you a fucking godsman? Is that what are you a godsman? You're preaching some godsman shit here, aren't you? Actually, if you end up trying to kindle the flames within people, you usually end up killing them. So you're saying everyone has the potential to become like you with the right spark? Okay, let's say that.
Yes.
Ignus grins, cocking his head to one side. Ashes falling from his skull and being swept up in the flaming wreath that surrounds him. Yeah, shit like this, like shit is all, like his body is constantly active from the heat, and like he's constantly eroding away. But how does it come back? Is it because the fire heals him too? Okay, I had some other questions for you. Your heart jumps as Ignus soars several feet into the air, and his jaw tears open, fiery trails spilling forth like a nest of snakes.
No more talk, questions. Silence.
But I wish to speak of flames, Ignus, and of burning. You will answer my questions, Ignus. I set you free. I may send you back to your hell again. Never mind then. But I wish to speak of flames, Ignus, and of burning. I cut XP for that? Your words are like oil, and you watch them fill Ignus's eyes, fanning the flames you see there.
Flames.
Ignus drifts down slightly, the heat around him rising as if in interest.
Speak. Ignus will listen.
Ignus, is it true you burned down the Alley of Dangerous Angles? We'll keep going through this. Ignus's face splits, the flesh around the corner of his mouth cracking, then re-melting into charred, sneering, red and black pieces.
Yes, a dream shall Ignus share.
Maybe later. For now, I wish to speak more of burnt... not right now. I had some other questions. I've heard enough. Maybe later. A torrent of flames pours from Ignus. We had no choice but to try and ignore him and have him interrupt me, for the record. A torrent of flames pours from Ignus, and you take a step back, the air bending from the heat.
Streets at night, so cold. Ignus burn the buildings, the dwellers. all ran from Ignus. The flames and the buildings were as flames. Screams as the dwellers became torches.
Listen quietly, waiting for his ranting to die. I've heard enough Listen quietly, waiting for his ranting to die.
Buildings as skeletons. Angles, bodies as skeletons. Reds and oranges and blacks. The flames spreading, caressing. Such lights.
Listen quietly and wait for his ranting to die. Ignus's fury dies, the wreaths of flame surrounding him ebbing somewhat. He seems to be lost in thought, perhaps lost in memory.
And Ignus was pleased.
Okay. I wish to speak more of burning and flames. Okay.
Flames.
Ignus's voice crackles as if in interest.
Speak. Ignus will listen.
What were you doing in the smoldering corpse bar? For a moment, you don't think Ignus has heard you, when suddenly the fires in his eyes dim slightly and he gives a soft hiss, cinders and ash dancing at the edges of his jaw.
Ignus once knew nothing of flames.
Yes? Okay.
Once, Ignus knew nothing of flames. He set small fires, tiny flames, tiny flickerings, small bits of flame.
Ignus hisses again, ashes and fiery motes drifting from the ruin of his mouth.
The fires grew. Ignus set fires in their streets and lit the fires of anger in their hearts.
Yes? You speak, but Ignus doesn't seem to hear you. He seems to be somewhere else, as if reliving a memory through his words. Against your will, you stop and listen.
They sought to put...
Oh, no, wait. I think we've... Yeah, we've read this, haven't we? Yeah. Yeah, the flesh runs as tallow. I'm pretty sure we read this. Okay. Yeah, when all planes burn and all life is torches, then Ignus shall at last be at peace. Okay. I wish to speak more on flames and burning. Ignus, I spoke with a storyteller in the Hive, and he mentioned that someone taught you these things. Who? Oh, XP, 6,000.
Of learnings and teachings, you know.
Gouts of flame erupt from Ignus's mouth in a horrid semblance of laughter.
You have always taught Ignus. Ignus, master, you were.
Me? Are you sure? I wish to speak more of flames and burning, Ignus. I see. I had some other questions. Never mind, Ignus. We'll speak again later. I love the way how we're playing, like the way in which the writing is like revealing slowly that we're maybe directly connected to a lot of the major events that went on here, which of course, you know, you kind of you're kind of inextricably linked to the world around you when you're like an immortal being that can die and is technically undying and comes back, you know. Given enough time, you have an impact on history in that way. Because, you know, normal people who don't do that oftentimes will still have an impact on the world in such a way, you know, but then you dial it up further to where, like, you've been around for hundreds of years, if not more. There are people who remember you, lineages of families. You can, you know, it's almost like a debuffed version of being a vampire. You can't help but in some way garner power, whether that be through like accumulation of wealth or just like connections or anything like that, or just knowledge of the way the world works, especially in a world like this where belief and knowledge does confer some like very direct form of power. Okay. Sure. Me? Are you sure? I wish to speak more of flames and burning, Ignus. I see I had some other questions. Never mind, Ignus. We'll speak again later. Me? Are you sure?
Updated my journal.
Ignus's voice drops and the crackling of the flames dies.
Yes, it is the only reason Ignus obeys you.
Flames rise around him in a crackling spiral.
Till death comes for us both. Your words to me, to your student Ignus. Ignus has not forgotten, Master.
Ignus, it must have been long ago when you learned the art. Are you absolutely sure it was me? Ignus, if I was your master, can you remember anything about me? I wish to speak more of flames and burning, Ignus. Can you remember anything about me, Ignus? Ignus hisses, and for a moment his features flicker at first. You think it's the flames, but it's not. It's the flickering of memory. Surrender to the memory, shake off the memory. I'll surrender to it. Whoa. The crackling of Ignus's flames subsides, lessening as the charred bones of Ignus's body fold up, twisting into itself until his thumbs lie motionless, becoming a stack of wood within a huge iron fireplace. You're staring into a fire, burning brightly within a vaulted room. The fire crackles and spits embers onto the stone floor, motes rising from the fireplace. Faintly, from the darkness behind you, you can hear the rasp of someone breathing. Memory. I can hear you. Step into the light. Shake off the memory. Memory. I can hear you. Step into the light. There is the shuffling of sandals, and a frail youth steps into the edges of the firelight. His wide black eyes catch the flames and mirror them. He is nervous. You can hear his muscles shaking, his voice trembling, just enough to increase your irritation. Forgive my intrusion, Master. Memory. You've already intruded, Supplicant. You did so with intention. I will hear it now, then you will leave me to my thoughts. The boy takes a deep breath and glances at the fire. Master, I dreamed of flames again, last night. They felt real, and you said that we were to come to you if... It was a dream. Nothing more. Now leave. The boy does not move. His brows draw together, and slowly he displays his hands, the flesh around the fingers, blackened, burned. How did your hands come to be burned, Supplicant? Supplicant? I awoke, and my hands were as ash. The boy meets your gaze. He's still trembling, faintly, but there is an eagerness in his voice which angers you. I dreamed I soared above the earth, and the ground and sky were as fire. The world itself was so bright that it hurt to look at it, Master. And when I awoke, my hands, they were burned, as if I had held a flame within my hands. You lie, Supplicant. You have come to me with a story, and now you are in danger of angering me. No, Master. The boy's face glistens with a sweaty sheen of fear. No, upon my life, I do not. You burned yourself with a candle, Supplicant, or thrust your hand within one of the pyres in the vault of currents. Now, you come to me and tell me a dream burned you. I tire of your lies. The boy falls silent, and to your surprise, his face clenches in anger. No, I do not lie. It was the dream that burned me, Master. As you said it might if we felt the power stirring. They were your words, and I came to repeat them to you and tell you that they are true. He holds up his hands. Look, Master. Memory, grab his hands. Before the boy can react, your hand, huge in comparison, lashes out, crushing his burned hands in its grip, and the boy screams, echoing in the vault. With a snarl, you hurl him to the ground in front of the fireplace, and there's a sharp crack as his knees strike the flagstones. Look into those flames, Supplicant. Raise your head. Look. The boy is shuddering from the pain from his knees. You watch tears blur his eyes as he raises his head to look into the fireplace. The flames cast his face in a red, gaunt glow. Is that what you wish to hold, Supplicant? Is the shaping of flames what stirs your heart? Know that flames can burn, and if you would learn their power, you must suffer their touch. The boy is silent, staring into the flames. He seems mesmerized. His tears have dried in the heat, and the shaking is gone. The flames are his focus. He's not listening to you, and you feel fury washing over you. If that is what consumes you, enough for you to intrude upon my meditations, then I shall teach you of the shaping of flames, supplicant. Your hand lashes out and clamps onto the boy's wrist. He howls as you drag him closer to the fireplace, then thrust his hands into the coals. There's a crackling, a hissing of burning flesh, and his screams. Such terrible, yet to learn you must suffer, supplicant. You must allow yourself to be burned by the power of that which you wield. Know its torment, and you shall know how to use it against your enemies.
Updated my journal.
10,000 XP. Your vision clears, the memory streaming away like smoke. Ignus is hovering above you, his head cocked to one side, and an insane blackened grin smeared across his face.
Master, Ignus has not forgotten your teachings.
Huh. Man. I would assume that this is one of our incarnations. Or maybe... I would assume it's not like our original. Right? Our first life, as it were. I wish to speak more of flames and burning, Ignus. Ignus, are you sure your teacher was me? Ignus, about your teaching, about the torments I subjected to you, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Ignus.
Flames, no torments.
Ignus slowly turns, twisting above the ground. He may have heard you, but you don't know if the words meant anything to him. Yeah, he's like gone completely feral. Like he's technically human, but is he, like he's so, his mind is so busted. Are you sure, supplicant? I wish to speak more of flames. Okay. At least I tried. I had some other questions for you, Ignus. Well, for what it's worth, Ignus, I'm sorry you ended up like this. We'll speak again later. Are you sure, supplicant? Ignus stops instantly, and he whirls on you, new flames bleeding from his chest and skull in a horrid, crackling mass. It's like a nest of flaming snakes suddenly erupted from hidden recesses on Ignus's body.
Supplicant no more is Ignus. Speak such again, and Ignus will burn you.
Try it, supplicant. It seems I will have to remind you of your station. Never mind then, I wish to speak more of flames and burning. Let's challenge him. Try it, supplicant. It seems I will have to remind you of your station. Ignus howls a horrible screaming roar, and a fiery radiance suddenly surrounds him, and his eyes. His eyes are like windows to some other place. He raises his hands, flames crackling along the edges, growing to become great flaming whips.
You shall burn.
Ignus, you asked for this.
You know, I've learned some new tricks.
Oh shit, we're killing him. We're fighting him? Oh my god! Okay. Oh shit! Okay.
I'm gone.
Do I want to keep that? Ooh, do I want to keep that? Should I keep that? Part of me really thinks I should keep that. How important is Ignus? I kind of want to keep that. I kind of want to just roll with that. God, but we'll be down a party member. Are there other people we can get? Or are we just going to permanently have one empty slot? God. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't keep that. I don't know. Part of me really does want to keep that, though. No, let's go back. Let's go back. Okay.
Done.
Sure. All right. Well, I think we'll call it here for now. Right. When next we return, we will continue adventuring around, right? We're going to go back to the Clerk's ward with Ignus. Maybe. I don't know. Part of me really wants to maintain him being killed because I see it almost as like a mercy kill. But, I don't know. Is there some way in which I can help him get better? I don't think so. I think we're beyond that point. Like, it's too fucked up of a situation. You know? It's too hellish. It's a fucking nightmare situation. All right. Well, until next time, please take care of each other.